though it's Coach Rick's first year here at CBA, his players, they already love him. And the reason why is because he's a straight shooter. Luke and Josh both come from across the country, but here at Syracuse is where their two stories meet. Quarterback Drew Allen in his second career start threw 4 interceptions, but after the game, head coach Scott Schaefer took the blame for the loss, but Drew Allen took the responsibility. An instant classic. Syracuse defeats Denver in the Final Four 9-8 here in Philadelphia, and the Orange, well, they're used to these one-goal games. But here's what separates Nas from the rest of the pack in Central New York. He's a hard-working high school football player that comes from a pretty rough background. 113 minutes and 22 seconds. That's how long the Syracuse defense held ACC opponents scoreless over the past 3 contests. Some coaches prefer to be in on the action, right on the sidelines, while others like a bit of a bird's eye view and be up in the coach's box looking down on the play. Ah, yes, the end zone, where Georgia Tech found itself 8 times against Syracuse on Saturday in its 56-0 win over the Orange. It was the perfect storm of problems for Syracuse. 9 penalties for almost 100 yards, 3 turnovers, and a defense that just had no answer for the Yellow Jackets. With the win, Syracuse improved to 7-2 on the season and racked up its 3rd win against a top 10 team. Next up for the Orange, well, it's another top 10 team. Number 2 Cornell invades the Dome on Wednesday. From Princeton Stadium in New Jersey, Ben Fontana, Citrus TV. Reporting from the national championship game at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Ben Fontana, Citrus TV. When you have talent, you usually know it. And with Nashawn Howard, that's certainly the case.
The mentality he plays with, the passion he has for the game. He's our guy that kind of picks us up when they're down. He's the guy that takes us to our next level when we're up. He's just our leader, in every way. Physically, in spirit, he's our guy.
Turns out he was also the guy for Syracuse. Nas, as he's lovingly referred to, verbally committed to play for the Cuse starting in the fall of 2014.
I'm too excited. I can't wait to get up there. I went to the Syracuse and Wagner game. I didn't really know how the experience was. I haven't been to a Syracuse game since I was 8. And at that age, I didn't really have that experience. And just being on the field while they were stretching and talking to the coaches and being in the locker room with them made me feel like I was part of the team already.
And if Nas works hard enough, this could be him next year.
Snap. Handoff, Smith. He breaks off to the left side, has some room, stiff arms the defender. He's in at the pylon. Touchdown, Syracuse.
But here's what separates Nas from the rest of the pack in Central New York. He's a hard-working high school football player that comes from a pretty rough background. In 2010, when he was just 14, Nas was charged with robbery.
That day was just a bad day. I hung out with the wrong crowd. Well, the wrong friend. Well, not even a friend. It was a brother of my cousin, and he told me to go to Walmart with him. Went to Walmart, and he did that. And since I was with him, you're as bad as coming you keep. So from there, I just had to prove a point to everyone that I wasn't that kid they thought I was because they didn't really know me like that.
I see, number one, I see a great student, and I see a good kid. Very just outgoing kid, happy to be around every day, every morning. Good morning, coach. How you doing? Smile on his face. Just a fun kid to be around.
And that respect, well, it goes a long way for a humble Howard.
Just being the same person I was and just keeping my family around me, my close friends from day one.
For the first time in a decade, a top 5 team dared to invade the Carrier Dome. Find out how number 3 Clemson throttled the Cuse in front of almost 50,000. And where does the Orange go from here? Plus, the men's soccer team dove straight into ACC play over the weekend. After a shutout win Saturday, find out how SU did on the road. Finally, bet you didn't know the Orange field hockey team is ranked 5th in the country. It was easy pickings at home for Coach Ange Bradley and company. And we hope it's just as smooth for you sitting on the bench. It starts right now. Words of encouragement from an SU great, but the Orange anything but great 2 weeks ago against Georgia Tech. A 56-0 loss in Atlanta, but head coach Scott Schaefer says, forget about it. And in the immortal words of Swizz Beatz, On to the next one. No auto-tune for Otto, but a bye week for the Qs to prepare for a 500 Wake Forest team. Must win for both the Orange and Demon Deacons in terms of postseason hopes. Let's get to the highlights in the Carrier Dome. Syracuse and Wake Forest, as I mentioned, both in need of a win. The Orange going with the orange helmet this week, not the old blue ones. And we start off in the second quarter. Terrell Hunt, he went to Jared West that is, 43 yards and a first down for Syracuse. A couple plays later, start of the third quarter, halftime, Terrell Hunt, Superman, into the end zone, and it is 7-0 Syracuse at that point in the third quarter. Past halftime again, defense. Name of the game, Isaiah Johnson intercepts a Wake Forest pass, and it sets up Syracuse beautifully. Right outside the red zone, Jerome Smith, Jared West, a pass? You gotta be kidding me. Brizzly Esteem wide open in the end zone, and dare I say it, Jared West is an absolute magician. Later on in the third quarter, Syracuse extra point, whacked. Jonathan Fisher filling in for the suspended Ryan Norton gets his PAT attempt blocked. 13-0 Syracuse at that point. And then, as I said, defense again. Tanner Price, the lefty, with no shot against the Syracuse front seven. Big sack there in the backfield by Isaiah Johnson and Marquise Sproul. 13-0, the final score for Syracuse.